My name's Chris.
And I'm Kristie.
This is the Washing Up Podcast, and it's Khan Week!
Khan is king or queen.
He's whatever he wants to be. Whatever you want to be, Khan, you are it. The world is your oyster, or Vegemite.
And by the world, we mean South Australia.
Yeah, we mean South Australia, and we mean like parts of the Barossa, in particular the Hardy's veranda. So it's been a weird couple of days. We had the elimination last night, and we're going to start with the elimination in a minute. But suffice to say, I wasn't very impressed with that whole challenge.
It had a lot of hype
and
not a lot of
the delivering.
meat.
The delivering was a bit.
It was all fancy pants. It was a gadget war.
Yeah.
So no one got to touch the gadget.
No one got to inspect the gadget.
No one got to inspect the gadget.
No one got to inspect the gadget.
Yeah.
And then tonight we had from what was a bit of a blur challenge to
something that was amazing. Something that was fun to watch.
Something that, I won't lie, when they announced what it was, I kind of went, oh.
Oh, but there was some sexy cloches.
And the cloches were very sexy.
Silver domes.
Although as
up on a table.
Although as Reese did point out, they all look the same. Thanks, Reese. Thanks, Reese.
As opposed to those times when they put up,
multi
kinds of mismatched cloches.
So the fact that they all look the same, that was interesting. But the fact that we had a challenge involving Vegemite that actually was creative and inventive and somebody put thought into, because I won't lie, I automatically said peanut butter.
Yeah.
And I think everyone expected peanut butter, and I think with Thai background in particular, that makes sense.
I was hoping for Vegemite.
But Khan
I prefer Vegemite over peanut butter. I like peanut butter, don't get me wrong. I prefer crunchy peanut butter because that's quite nice, because it's got a bit of texture and stuff on it. Particularly when you put it on like a Vita Wheat, they're quite cool, or a Crusket. Nice on a Crusket. But, if you're going to offer me both, I'll probably end up with the Vegemite.
Well, what I thought was really fascinating about it is that, for me, peanut butter is a bit more robust in terms of you could do more with it. But Khan had a strategy, and it was partly because he thought that he could balance those flavours up and use it in place of fish sauce, which is insanely clever. And the second he said it, I thought about it and went, of course, that's just logic.
Yeah.
But he also thought to himself, I don't know if the professional is going to want to be able to do that. And turns out he couldn't. So let's start with last night.
Yes.
All right.
We went to this beautiful rolling green pasture with a Rubik's Cube half undone in the middle of it.
Yeah, it looked like someone had unbuckled a Rubik's Cube. I was waiting for Kevin McLeod or the Australian guy to stand there and just what this building does is it steps outside itself and says, me too, but in a green sense.
I don't think it's sympathetic with the landscape around it. It thrusts itself forward and says, look at me, I'm not quite a cube, but I am a cube.
But don't look at me too much, because I'm not that sort of building. I'm flashy, but I'm reserved. I'm flash-served. So I don't know why he became partly David Attenborough, but anyway. So, look, they went, this building is wonderful and marvellous, and I looked at it and went, and not structurally unsound.
It's a thing.
The building was, for me, the best part of the whole challenge.
Look, the building is what that restaurant is. It's gadgetry, it's flashy, it's drawing in, it's going to do some zany things.
So
with some appropriated Indigenous artefacts behind it.
Exactly. So we began the night with Twitter asking the very simple question. And look, it on one hand, it's a kind of harsh question. But on the other hand, given the last two nights, it was a fair question. Everyone walked in asking the same thing.
Yes.
How exactly is Chloe going to mince a lemon meringue pie?
And that was a great question to ask. It's very pertinent because, quite frankly, I was expecting her to go up to that 3D printer and go, where's the mincing attachment?
Where's the mincing attachment? P.S. Can I print noodles? And that's exactly what she was doing, it turns out. So the second they mentioned there would be some form of noodle, it wasn't a real noodle, but I went, oh, that means Chloe's safe because that's what she can do. So I liked the way that actually Chloe phrased it in an interesting way. She goes, after being given the opportunity to make this dish, and I'm going, you're in elimination.
fucked up.
You weren't given the opportunity. You were told, do this or else.
You're like, yeah, either do this, you go home.
Yeah, you know, that's like at the end of World War II, when all those Nazi commanders and generals were given guns by Hitler and his and his staff, and going, look, you can commit suicide,
Yeah.
or we can finish you off. Your call, really. You know, they didn't want to,
but
didn't really have a choice in the matter. So it was a bit like that. But in this case, I
found the whole challenge itself to be quite... Because usually when they're doing it, it's a 600-step, 900-page novella that they've got to deconstruct, and every step they're creating themselves. This one, there were pre-packaged goods.
Everything was pre-packaged. Everything was pre-measured. And it just seemed like a chance for the chef to show off his 3D food printer.
It's like... You know what it is? It's a Meccano set of food. Just like the cubic thing there.
Yeah.
They've essentially gone and bought themselves a little Meccano set or a Lego set, whatever you like. They're having to unbox it, sort out the pieces and put it all together. Like, don't get me wrong, there were some cooking elements there. I mean, we had to see if the...
Not many. Not many. Look, I'm not going to be as kind as I normally am, because I thought this challenge was an absolute piece of wankery of the highest order. And I love food wankery, right? I have a separate podcast where we do food wankery. But this was just something else entirely. My reason for calling it food wankery is it wasn't a lemon meringue pie for a start of it.
No.
It was not a lemon meringue pie. It didn't even contain all of the fucking elements of a lemon meringue pie. Secondly, it was so tiny, right? It was... forget the idea of negative space and making the plate look bigger. This was just fucking small. Right? If someone had served that to me as the dessert, my reaction is, where's the rest of my fucking dessert?
You're like, is this the palate cleanser before the dessert arrives?
This is the palate cleanser. Third...
You could have saved some space and served it up on a microscope slide.
You could have. And the third, and far more importantly, the bit that they printed out.
Yeah.
All right, the meringue. I felt cheated.
It wasn't it the chocolate bit? I don't know. They printed everything.
I know, but then the hexagonal meringue bit, I felt cheated by the amount of meringue. It just... The whole thing just looked sad and disappointing and tiny, and you could almost see the all of them making it sort of thinking to themselves, the four of them making it, going, this is a bit crap. No one looked impressed.
It was the height of self-indulgence, that recipe. It's like, I've got a 3D printer, I've got this fancy-ass restaurant, and I'm just going to wank around it. And, like, I'm like you, I love art and wankery and stuff, but something just... I'm still mulling over, but it all comes down to... It's like when your dad when you're younger, right, and your dad goes and gets, like, the latest computer.
Yep.
And he's... Like, my dad would get, like, a new, like, a graphic design kind of program.
I remember the day we brought home the Commodore 64 with the music program.
They sit there reading the manual.
Yep.
And reading the manual and get really excited, and all the fucking conversations over dinner for the next 6 weeks were about this computer program. And then he goes away for a bit and he's working on something and he comes out with like a drawing of a snowman. Like, but look, it looks 3D.
Now, my question was, if you went to a normal 3D printer, just with a piping bag, and just sort of piped into the back of a normal 3D printer, would it work?
I don't know.
I'd like to try
Romano was tinkering around.
Yeah, Lisa was having a go at one of those. Look, I've got a photo quality printer downstairs. I wonder if I can photo print meringue. I'd test it, but I don't want to break a printer.
I want to go avant-garde and just tie the piping bag to the back of my cat's tail. See what she comes out with.
Oh, Mr. Hart, what a mess. So, we also had a couple of things that were a bit more disturbing last night. George is trying to make boom boom shake the room a thing.
Oh, hun, it wasn't a thing 6 years ago. It's still not a thing now. Just let it go.
Again, and not boom boom shake the room. First of all, it's boom shake shake the room. Tick 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 boom. The Fresh Prince is not who you are, though, George. All right.
Yes, and that was over 20 years ago. I was still at high school,
and he does give a whack jam.
I was still a virgin.
George does give a whack jam.
Oh, yeah, but he gives a wank jam as well, which is a bit nasty.
You don't want a George wank... No. Anyway, moving on. So we have...
Look, things I liked about last night's challenge was it was good to see Ben in the kitchen, because he is really, really good at following other people's stuff. And I think he's got a lot of potential. And I'm not sure if he's going to unleash it in this particular space, but you can see his development. And, after Gordon Ramsay week, really impressed with that. Huda, loved watching her work. She's always intense. And, yeah, she missed some crunchy pearls. But who the fuck knew if you had to cook them or not, because they were in a fucking bag.
Everybody missed something, right? That was the thing.
Yeah.
Also, and
Chloe missed putting something in a freezer.
Also, and this is not a...
Janine missed like 600 components of a dish.
She did. This is not a shot against Chloe, and this is not an anti-Chloe podcast, but Chloe hasn't really looked like she's wanted to be there in a lot of the challenges lately.
No.
And then we get to the elimination challenges, and they're all step-by-step, follow the recipe. And that's what Chloe's good at. She's not good at the invention part so far. She's fallen apart a bit with the invention. She's in her own head a bit.
Yeah.
And we see this happen middle of the competition. We saw it happen last year.
Yeah.
Season before. It always happens. People who are really ultra inventive at the start can get stuck in their own head.
But this is where you start to see the bloomers come out. But
Yep.
we're in the black step.
So when you get stuck in your own head, you start to sort of, the invention's not quite there like it was early on. Chloe's sort of in that phase at the moment.
Yeah.
And the problem is she's in almost every elimination that comes up.
She's in blacks consistently.
But then she's really good at following a recipe, and so she's not going to get eliminated.
Or she's good at mincing something and just cooking it.
But she's not going to get eliminated in a step-by-step challenge because she's good at a step-by-step. Like Ben. Ben, same thing. He's good at step-by-step. So those two, if they get into an elimination, they're really good at step-by-step. You must do this. If it's an invention challenge, they're probably in trouble. So I felt for Janine last night. I felt really bad for Janine.
She's had a tough week, and her stress levels have just been all over the shop, and she's just not had a coherent thought.
I don't think her stress levels recovered from the night before.
Nah.
And
I feel you, Janine. I'm not on point at the moment. Really, just
and Huda. Huda. Message. I know you're listening. Do not do that to us again.
Chris was a little upset. You got in there? No.
Couldn't cope. I had family here. They were watching. They were watching me have a little mini meltdown. Right? They were getting invested. They were sitting here going, not Huda. They don't watch the show. They were watching it and going, Huda's really awesome. Not Huda. No. I wasn't coping. I really wasn't coping.
And these are people who watch House Rules, don't they? Or one of the
No, they don't watch
shows?
House Rules. They watch The Voice.
Oh, there we go. They're all musical people.
They watch The Voice. So...
Did you know Chris' family is descended from Grieg,
They're from Grieg, yes. We're from Grieg, about 8 generations twice removed.
Yeah.
So...
I can track my family back to the caves.
No,
of Janelli.
You've got a better one.
Which one? Oh, Ned Kelly.
No,
He can get fucked.
The tart.
Oh, yeah. Lucy Scott, she's pretty cool.
You know, Lucy Scott's the idol on your side, isn't she?
She is. She's the cheerful tart. But you're making me miss my point where I do this joke, right, where I go, I can track my family all the way back to the caves. And you're like, oh, no one can do that. And I'm going, I can, because there's graffiti in a cave in Janelli. And then you go, oh, that's hilarious, because we thought she meant the Stone Age, and she just means that her dad was a delinquent. That's how it's supposed to go.
I love when Kristie explains them.
Yeah.
I love it. I think I say Janolan caves and he's a stalagmite. Anyway, moving on. So, Huda survived, just. Chloe managed to sort of crush it a little bit. So did Ben. So good for them.
Yep.
Now, before we move on to tonight, I do have to address one thing that I made mention of last
George
night.
was a little stumpy stegosaurus in the kitchen last night.
Well, he was, but there's a bit more than that.
Okay.
So this is something that I didn't want to have to mention, but I brought it up last night online, and I brought it up on Twitter, and a few other people have noticed it recently too. The production crew are getting really lazy at how they are doing the introductions.
Yeah.
Because in the way they did the teaser last night,
we knew Janine was going.
we knew it was Janine because they showed Matt Preston talking to them all sitting down, and they clearly showed Matt Preston looking to the far side where Janine was sitting. But it was a very obvious tell. It was a really obvious giveaway. It wasn't like he may have been looking at Huda. It was an obvious he was looking at the outside person, which was Janine.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I mean, obviously they can't redo all the episodes, but they can redo those teasers. And I hope someone from production took a look at that last night and went, oh, shit, we've got to tighten that up a bit.
Yeah, because I guess it's a real art form in being able to tell a story but also not lead people down the wrong track.
Yeah.
And so you completely... Because we get the shits of that when it's bad storytelling.
Yeah.
But we also don't appreciate...
You also don't want to give it away.
Spoilers.
Yeah, you don't want to give it away.
Like, we don't want, like, going down to the final in a few weeks' time. We don't want them, like, the camera panning.
And who might it be? And they're just showing, like, one of them holding up the trophy.
And Gary just pointing at the dude. or dudette.
You won!
Yes.
Gary chairing them around the kitchen on his shoulders.
We're
We're a Jewish festival all of a sudden. All right, so
Muzzles off.
So tonight, Khan week.
It is.
Now, Khan managed to, first of all, break a spell of, it's going to be my week this week, although... As I pointed out, Khan was saying that tongue was not only slightly in cheek, it was firmly wedged there.
Yes.
And I almost got the feeling like they were like, is this your week this week? And Khan's just like, I'm not going to give you what you want. I'm going to go overboard. It's Khan week. It's Khan week. Is that enough for you? Is that enough? You want some more? You want some more of the Khan?
I'll give you some Khan. So much Khan, it's a festival and all the celebrities are coming.
Chaka Khan. So anyway, we started with cloches outside, as you called it, Oshklosh Bagosh.
It is Oshklosh Bagosh. Big sexy silver domes.
Big sexy silver domes.
Little nipples on top. I wonder if you go around when you try, like if I was doing that, I'd just go around like the top.
I would have gone.
Cloches.
I would have gone. I want that. So we're looking at the big round dome, glistening in the sun.
Yes.
I'll have that. Oh, sorry, George. Sorry, sorry, George. I didn't realise you were standing in that. I thought.
Big shiny silver dome.
I thought for half a second there. What's in that head? I don't know. It's not staff wages. Anyway, so
never gets old.
Never gets old unless you're one of your staff, in which case it got old really fast.
Yeah.
So I was in a bit of a foul mood early.
Yes.
What the fuck does Samira have to do?
Oh.
Right. She got robbed. Absolutely robbed in the one where
What
Sashi
did
got
she do to piss off the Masterchef gods? Like,
this time...
She, like pee on the Vespa or something?
I don't know. There's no...
Cheeky
By
squash
the way,
Vespa.
it's fucking South Australia.
Yeah.
Can you not find a random hipster riding a Vespa? Just get them to ride past Shot. Get Maggie Beer to do it for all I care.
Oh, I know what I want now. I want a Vespa brooch. You know how you can get those funky plastic brooches? I need a Vespa brooch.
I need a Vespa brooch. I think I say I need a Vespa bro. I'm like, I'm not getting you a Vespa. And when have you started calling me bro?
Since I've just, come back from my retreat, it's like all about bros and sisters. Anyway, let's get back to
moving
the
on.
podcast.
So, poor Samira. I mean, look, you just feel like she's cursed.
She's, like I said, she's pissed off the Masterchef god somewhere. I don't know if she took she said the wrong words. She didn't sacrifice to the right god in the shed.
She said that she really likes white chocolate veloute. I don't know what she's done. Now, yeah, when she went out, I was like, oh shit, no. And then they got down to Khan.
But can we just take a moment? Okay. Reese going up.
We'll give him credit for this, yeah.
First go, opens the cloche. There's something I'm going, is that like garam masala? Like, what the fuck is that? And he's like, well, it's kind of floral. And he's there going through, I've used a lot of flowers, and I guess it's fennel flowers. And I'm like, holy fuck, if this guy gets this, he's like the fucking flower maiden of the fucking universe. And lo and behold, Gary's like, I'm glad you got that. Yes, it is. And I'm like, well, hello, Kore, who is like the spring goddess that became Persephone. Just out there for people to know their Greek mythology to help it. You're not helping me here at all. You're letting me just hang on a ledge here, aren't you, Chris?
Cool story, bro. Anyway, as one of my students is taken to saying, good chat. So
he is now the official flower maiden of the series because of all these flowers.
There we go. So I don't know. Have you ever heard of pig face?
Yeah, I planted it once. And it died?
Of course it did. I've seen you plant things. I know how this story goes.
Yeah.
The herb garden out the front's going beautifully.
It's gone the way of the actual herbs.
We've got
over in
lovely...
New Zealand.
Thank you for that. I love it. Any reference to the herbs?
Look, it lasted for a good 3 months.
That's better than most of the herbs in the herb garden.
So, like, yeah, we planted it at a house I was, like running for people with disabilities, not managing them.
Not your home.
Not my home. So that's about it.
So then Khanh managed to win.
I hope we can buy it at Coles soon. Like, just got,
I'm sure you can.
Handful of spinach leaves, handful of rocket, handful of pig face.
Ba-da-da-da. Pig face.
So back to Khanh.
So back to Khanh. So
drive us along.
So now Khanh decided to... Khanh got to take on the ladies and gentlemen, please pretend to know. And tonight's please pretend to know was Jin Choi, who's the chef at Hardy's, which is where they were, which makes perfect sense. To have the head chef from the restaurant of the place they're at to actually be the person you compete against. Just logical, really. Yeah, saves you having to fly anybody in. Yeah. It's great fun. Now, at this point, Khanh made a comment about the fact that this is his turf. He's familiar with everything. He doesn't cook in the back garden, Khanh. There's a kitchen inside that building.
It's like if someone went, oh, you want to like just office outside today? And there I am at work, nice view, but not really.
No, it's like, it's a home advantage for him. This is his kitchen.
No, my phone isn't there.
His kitchen's got solid walls around it.
No electricity.
There's no random freezer cabinets in the middle of like the lawn normally.
It's like you don't run under the tree to go and get your sauces.
It was that weird moment where Khanh went to put the stock that he had in the fridge quickly, and he's run over and like opened this giant silver fridge in the middle of the garden, and I'm like. That just looks wrong to me.
It looks like someone had done it at Second Life. Had just Second Life their kitchen. Sort of.
So what happened was you had a situation where Khanh had to pick between peanut butter and Vegemite. And as we said, I would have picked peanut butter. I think everyone expected him to pick peanut butter.
I was so happy he picked Vegemite, though.
Vegemite was clever.
And I liked him being, like, strategical about it. Strategic about it, because he's like, well, this is something I've got a bit of an idea. I don't think a chef would have an easy comfort zone with this. And I think that evened out the playing field beautifully.
And as Marco on Twitter pointed out, the fact that he didn't make it a dessert made Khanh the real hero.
Oh, I think that's what was exciting, Gary and George.
It wasn't a dessert.
It wasn't a dessert.
Now, Khanh decided to go with, as he just called it, chicken and Vegemite. But it was chicken with the broth and the dumplings, and it was a really clever, well-balanced dish. And he put it in there to substitute for the fish sauce, and then at the end mixed it back in again to rebalance the flavours. Yep. And what Khanh did that was clever was he spent the whole time balancing the flavours.
Yep.
Right, sampling, balancing.
Not so clever leaving your dumplings out to dry.
That wasn't clever. That wasn't clever at all.
Good on Samira, though.
Samira's like, you left your dumplings out. Khanh.
So technically, she had a hand in this pin.
Half a pin.
Still hashtag justice for Samira.
Maybe she can have like the clip-on bit.
Maybe she could just get to hold it for a moment.
Can I hold the pin? What pin? It vanishes. So you had Khanh sort of balancing his flavours up, and then Jin sort of
wandering around the pantry.
Didn't quite know what to do.
No.
And then when he decided to go with risotto, the dish of death.
Oh, kimchi.
It's the death dish in the Masterchef kitchen.
Vegemite prawn risotto.
Obviously, nobody in the actual culinary world watches Masterchef. Because
he's Korean.
Because the second it came up, everyone online just went, that's the death dish.
Like, if he was from India, right? Because we know that there's a massive following of Masterchef in India.
I'm still getting likes on a tweet that I had with Eloise last season where we mentioned the cricketer Glenn Maxwell. So for an Indian audience, you've got Australian cricketers and Masterchef. It still
takes off.
There'll be a like pop up on the Twitter feed. I'm like, where's the... Oh, that's that tweet from last year. Yeah, I thought that it was an interesting challenge. I thought that Jin deciding to not check his flavours and only mix it in at the end was a bit weird. The fact that, as I said, he mixed the Vegemite and the butter together, that's why I said it was like a breakfast Moss burger because it was Vegemite and butter and then rice instead of bread.
Look, I guess he's one of those people who are a deep thinker. You know, this isn't geared to Jin's personality, whereas Khan, he's been in, like, not only that, Khan's been in MasterChef for how many weeks now? So he knows the game, he knows the rules, he knows the play.
You get used to doing random things.
Whereas Jin, you could see he's one of those chefs that go out and take their time to, like, craft and develop and bring out stuff. So I don't think this was quite to his strengths, and that showed on the plate.
No. Having said that, Khan,
joy to watch.
Khan had absolutely...
excited me.
Khan had absolutely no doubts what he was going to be doing from the moment one he knew.
Yeah.
And what, again, this shows you is a clear vision, clear focus.
Mm-hmm.
He knew what he wanted out of it, managed to implement it, did it. Shannon, it also showed again tonight, having Shannon back there after having Gordon Ramsay the other week, is that when Shannon goes over to give advice to the professional looks at Shannon as if to say, fuck off. But
I was in culinary school when you were doing media training.
When you were first doing this. What I found really interesting was there was one moment where Shannon's like, you don't have time to look at the view. They were both staring at their benches. No one was looking at the view. And he stops them to tell them don't look at the view that they weren't looking at.
Maybe Shannon was there staring off into the distance. He just gets in his earpiece to Shannon, don't look off into the view. Stop looking off into the view. You've got 10 minutes.
Shannon, you haven't said anything in a while. Shannon, come up with something. Mention the view. Don't look at it. No. Look at the view, everybody. Don't cook anything else. Shannon, wrong thing. Shannon, say don't look at the view. Don't look at the view.
Look, it was a mighty fine view, but when they were first zooming into it, it kind of reminded me of one of the shots from The Lord of the Rings, like you're going into Rohan or something.
Maybe.
The rise of Adelaide Hills.
Maybe what they didn't show you was the hotel on the other side.
Yeah.
Maybe they had TVs on. And The View was on.
Stop watching.
And they were all watching The View to see what Joy Bayer and Whoopi Goldberg had to say, probably about Trump. And they've gone, hey, stop watching The View. That's got to be it. I've put it together.
Well done. That's perfect.
I've got it.
Yeah,
I've managed to solve it. So Shannon Bennett was apparently the doyen of Vegemite. As at one point he started telling him about the balancing of that flavour and the Vegemite's going to do this.
But he didn't say.
30 seconds later he goes,
I've never made a
broth with Vegemite before. I don't really know. It's like, so why were you just giving advice?
But I know someone's grandmother who used to have hot water with a teaspoon of Vegemite in it to help her cold. Like, that's a Vegemite broth technically, isn't it? Or is that a Vegemite tea?
I'm going with it's a broth.
Because it's not a leaf, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like, is a broth technically just a meat tea?
We're getting into a cereal soup territory here.
We are. Like,
is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yeah, but is tea a broth or broth just meat tea or veggie tea?
I think broth's meat tea.
Yeah.
I think we've resolved this. The Shower Thoughts Twitter page is going to love us.
Just bring it on. What are your thoughts?
On another note, by the way, again, is cereal soup?
Well, no, it's just milk with stuff in it.
What's the definition of soup?
Soup's hot water with stuff
Not
in
always.
it.
What's gazpacho?
Oh, don't fuck me with my head tonight. I can't do it. Back to Khan. It's Khan week, not gazpacho. It
is Khan week, and look,
cereal or soup week.
I'd talk about the judging, but to quote The Simpsons, stop, he's already dead. Like, I've never seen Gary look at something so reluctantly in all my life. As they put down,
pulling away from the
they put it
table.
down, and she goes, Vegemite prawn risotto, and Gary is leaning so. I thought he was going to fall off the chair, and he looks at it and goes, Vegemite prawn risotto.
You know when kids go through that age, like kids that get into cooking go through that age around about 9, 10, 11, where they start just like going, I'm going to cook dinner tonight. And the parents like, no. And I'm saying this from my own experience as a 9, 10 and 11-year-old. Like,
what are these? Jelly chicken breasts?
Yes.
With a popping candy crumb.
Yes. And pickled onions on the side.
And stuffed with pickled onions.
Yes.
And Nutella.
And then the parents have to eat and go, this is delicious. And then 9 minutes later, after they've scraped it into the bin, they're making themselves some toast with Vegemite.
With Vegemite, ironically enough. It really was Khan week. It really has been Khan week so far. He was really good the other night. That's how he got here, obviously. And I mean, look, it's especially Khan week because, as we said the other night, he avoided that horrendous challenge where you had to pair off.
He's like, the gods of South Australia just look down on him.
I like the idea that, you know what I'd like to think? I'd like to think he spent some time off with the Mall's balls. It's a real thing. People in South Australia.
The Mall balls.
Yeah, Rundle Mall, Mall's balls.
Where's the one that has the bull balls? So Rundle Mall has the balls.
Mall's balls, yeah.
Is it... Somewhere has a ball with balls. Oh, that's New York I'm thinking about. Oh.
Well, Sydney's got the fountain in the middle of the park, which has got all the very homoerotic slaying of balls.
Yeah. That's
which is one of my favourites personally.
Oh, what's it called? The Trevi Fountain.
It's not the Trevi Fountain. It's not the
Fucking hell.
The Trevi Fountain in the middle of Hyde Park.
I used to know what it was, and I used to know all the... It's because it's got all the mythology around it. Oh, it's too long ago.
It looks like the Fuck, Marry, Kill fountain. That's what it looks like.
Will you fuck Diana, marry Apollo?
No. It was this bull, or this bull. Which one are you going to fuck? Which one are you going to marry? Which one are you going to kill? And the one with the sword, he's got the sword on his throat. Is like, I think he chose kill. It's a weird fountain. It's a really weird fountain. So, not the Trevi, though.
Not the Trevi, no. It's got another name.
I like how you remember the Trevi. I like that. So...
Not enough coins.
So, Khanh now has a pin. Everyone was thrilled that it wasn't Reese and it wasn't Sashi.
Well, it would have been nice to see Sashi actually earn one. Oh!
Well, funny you should say that. Funny you should say that, because tomorrow night, they gave us a bit of the preview for tomorrow night. It's a team challenge.
Yeah.
Reese and Sashi are on the same team.
They are.
Now, if this challenge goes badly...
For their team,
you could be in a situation where both Reese and Sashi burn their pins.
On the other side of it, if Khan's in the losing team, he's had a pin for a good old 2 days.
Yeah, but that's taking out one pin versus taking out 2 pins in one activity.
That would be cool.
That's fascinating. I love that. That could be brilliant. Strategically, Khanh could suddenly jump above both of them in one move. So this could be really interesting to see what happens there. So with that, that's probably a lot for tonight. I know it's a bit of a shorter episode, but we didn't really have much to talk about 3D printing fake lemon meringue pies. I mean, do you want us to be nasty about it? Not really. So, and we probably would have been. Now, can't guarantee you a podcast on Thursday. May not make it on Thursday. We may get one out over the weekend at some point.
Saturday.
Who knows?
May have a special guest, may not.
We may do something with a special guest. We may not. When all we can probably say to you is that the chances of there being a podcast on Thursday night are not high.
Not high, but Yeah.
But again, it's down the track. It'll be things that benefit everyone at home. You, the listening audience, the people we love,
who we do this podcast for. It's not a
self-gratification project.
No, not at all.
As Tom Lehrer once said, self-indulgence is better than no indulgence at all. So, and with that, I'm still Chris.
I'm still Kristie.
And we'll catch you all later.
Bye.